Game 1 of the World Series at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. And the A's are ahead 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Tony Phillips, Walt Weiss, and Rickey Henderson. Phillips, switch hitter, comes up right-handed for the first time in the game. And the pitch is high for a ball. Tony La Russa playing a pretty pat hand for the most part. Really, the only decisions he has to make is in regard to his middle infielders. He also has Mike Gallego, and you've got any combination with Phillips and Weiss and Gallego. And then behind the plate with Steinbach and Hasse as Phillips singles to right field to start the 6th inning.
Well, he said he'd like to get Gallego in tomorrow night, but the way Weiss and Phillips are swinging the bat, Tony being a switch hitter, as you saw him get a base hit earlier, left-handed, now right-handed. I'll tell you one thing, you talk about great pitching. One of the reasons are guys like Phillips, former shortstop, now plays second base, great range, good arm. It's a lot easier when you're out on the hill.
Walt Weiss, his home run in the 4th inning, made it 5-0. Turning around right-handed. He had 228 as a right-handed batter during the regular season. And squaring the bunt, takes outside, ball 1. Rene Lachemann, who, by the way, is very much in contention for the managerial job at Cleveland, which is open, and the Indians giving every indication of talking to Lachemann at the end of the World Series. Was flashing the signs from third. Lachemann, of course, has prior experience as a manager of the Milwaukee Brewers at one time and the Seattle Mariners as well. Missing a bunt attempt in the count 1-1.
There's a situation, Tim, where if Weiss bunts Phillips over, Henderson on deck, do you walk him? I mean, you really take the bat out of Rickey Henderson.
Not when you're behind by 5 runs. I don't intentionally walk anybody, I don't think.
So you let Henderson hit off of Hammer.
Yep.
Okay.
Swings away and rips it foul, does Weiss, in the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There, you talked about Rene Lachemann and Dave McKay at first base. This ball foul by about a foot or more.
How much more?
How the eyes deceive you.
1-2 the count on Weiss. Williams has backed up at third, and Hammaker with a token throw over to first.
Okay, I'm hanging on Rene Lachemann.
Rene Lachemann and Dave McKay over at first base. Dave McKay, also the physical fitness coach. And the Oakland A's really a top-shelf organization to the extent that their coaches get extra money for the success of the ball club. We'll tell you about it after this pitch.
Ball, strike 3. So Weiss has a word with the plate umpire, Rich Garcia, and down he goes. He's Hammaker's second strikeout victim.
Peter Gammons of Sports Illustrated and a super writer told me before the game that the Oakland A's coaches, if the Athletics win the division, they get $10,000 extra. If they win the pennant, they get $10,000 extra. If they win the World Series, they get $25,000 extra, which means $45,000 into the pockets of coaches who don't make a lot of money, and that's on top of their World Series share.
That last year was over $100,000.
Yeah.
Where the winners and the losers make almost as much. There's not that much of a disparity.
You know, you rarely see incentives for coaches, but those guys do a great job. Most of them are not paid a lot of money. And I think it's terrific of the A's to have that system working, because nobody puts in more work than major league coaches. Tony La Russa handles the people. He handles the players, but all the work's done by the coaches, all the physical work.
Another benefit, of course, coaching with a club like Oakland and having back-to-back years is that you are considered for the managing openings, as Laxman is. And of course, even though Dave Duncan is not linked to any particular opening or to any particular situation, the day will probably come when Dave will be more than seriously considered. That's hit into right field for a base hit. Phillips takes the big turn at second. The throw comes in, and then he gets back. He rounded the bag, looked at Laxman, and then scrambles back ahead of the throw for Maldonado. So Henderson with a single to right, and Rickey is 2 for 4. And the A's now have 10 hits in the game.
And the reason that Phillips Almley on an excellent execution of hitting, Maldonado playing very much shallower than he did before the off field on a right-hand hitter that does not have a lot of power. See Phillips just barely getting back as Uribe tries to make the tag. Good throw by Maldonado. We saw a bad throw earlier as he hits the cutoff man, almost comes into play as an out.
Carney Lansford, a single in 3 trips tonight. Infield at double play depth, and the pitch is taken for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Jeff Brantley starts to throw in the San Francisco bullpen. Phillips at second and Rickey Henderson at first. And Hammaker misses away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Brantley in the Giants pen. Giants going with a 9-man pitching staff in postseason, and the A's with 10.
Roger Craig very, very impressed with Jeff Brantley, thinking Jeff could be a terrific stopper someday. Right now he's middle relief. A lot of young pitchers come up in that particular style. They're middle relief until they get over the early jitters, and then they're either moved into a starting position or an effective short man, depending on their effectiveness, of course.
7 wins, 1 loss over the season. Likes to bring him in to get out of an inning because he apparently has nerves of steel. Doesn't seem to bother the bases loaded situation.
Little chopper foul. For the moment, he's a setup man. The Giants closers, of course, are Steve Bedrosian from the right side and Craig Lefferts from the left side. Brantley and Downs and Hammaker, the middlemen. But going back to what we said at the very beginning tonight, I think it can only be appreciated in retrospect what Roger Craig has done this year with the Giants, with the pitching staff, with the injuries, to use 15 different starting pitchers, to have guys off and on the disabled list all season, and never lose more than 3 games in a row.
There's a lot of people feel that maybe the split finger fastball had caused some of the shoulder injuries. Roger Craig says ask any of the pitchers. They don't seem to think that'd be the reason. Maybe it's the cold weather in Candlestick Park. You know, they pitched extremely well there. A lot of people think a split finger fastball is a very unorthodox pitch. Successful, but you don't have your fingers behind the ball. You have them around it. It's contrary to a lot of pitching.
Lansford hits a fly ball to right field. Maldonado started in, now backs up a few strides. Phillips tags but holds at second as the throw comes in, and that's the second out. So 2 down in the 6th inning with the A's ahead 5-0. And Jose Canseco is the batter. He's been silent tonight. He has struck out twice and fouled to first.
Dangerous situation, however, for Hammaker, because he throws in that zone that Jose likes it. A better low ball hitter, Hammaker, to be effective, has to keep the ball down. Jose, with that heralded 900 number, he's now 1 for 22 in the last 2 World Series. He might have to change it to 911, 911.
Either that or you should call collect.
Everybody who calls is calling collect.
Roger Craig now will go to the mound, and with Canseco, the right-handed batter, up here, Brantley in the bullpen.
What I meant by that is they call and he collects.
Yep. So Gray goes to the mound. He's going to the bullpen as well. Brantley comes in to face Canseco with 2 on, 2 out, 5-0 the score, and we'll be back after a word from our ABC stations.
Next Saturday, who's the biggest of them all?
Who's your little friend? Wow, you're almost as big as my mom.
Mr. Belvedere. Then,
I've never gotten a C in my life. Neither have I, no matter how hard I try.
Living Dolls.
The Dream Series is here. Catch all the action, the plays, and the players from both sides of the bay. A Channel 7 World Series special tonight following the game.
Presenting the 1990 Mitsubishi Mighty Max. This new Mighty Max gives you more power and more standard equipment than any other pickup in its class. You'll have to be awfully loyal to your old truck not to get into the new Mitsubishi Mighty Max. Factory dealer incentives could save you up to $1,000.
Ask 1,000 Californians about life in California. You'll get 1,000 different answers. Ask about plans for the future. No 2 replies will be the same. But ask who they rely on to turn vision into reality. You'll hear one name more than any other, B of A. Where more Californians save for more good reasons. To find out who's doing the job for more California savers, ask a Californian.
Where do millions of the world's vehicles go when they need to fill up? The same place you do. BP.
Don't worry, you were here first.
BP. On the move.
Channel 7, your Giants A's World Series station.
Dave Stewart looking on with a 5-run lead, and the A's trying to make it more with Canseco at the plate, Brantley into work, and the first pitch away in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Brantley, a teammate at Mississippi State of Will Clark, and coming in here trying to keep the Giants remotely in the game. Canseco hitting with 2 out and 2 on, and the A's ahead 5-0 in the 6th inning. Behind 3-0, and on deck, of course, is the left-hand batting Parker.
And I would think Canseco would be hitting here 3-0. Tony La Russa knows that with 1 swing, Canseco could put this game out of reach. Parker helped do this home run back in the 3rd.
Brantley walks him on 4, so the bases are loaded. 2 down, and Dave Parker hit back to the box, homered, and struck out. Mike Lacoste going down to the Giants bullpen. And Parker nubs 1 foul off to the left. 0-1 the count.
Very early on, even though Parker with a home run, you get an idea of who the Giants want to pitch to. Will it be Canseco or will it be Parker? You know, Parker had a splendid year. 22 home runs, led the A's in RBIs.
The 0-1 is in there, and the count 0-2. Parker, you might say, hopping mad over the call.
Also at 38 in his last year, as you watch. The Yeah, a little bit low, Richie Garcia.
The 0-2 pitch. Just low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dave, with that earring, he went to a bigger model for postseason play. Or like a half-carat job during the regular year. Now we're talking Tiffany's. And it's a ground ball to the right side. Thompson gobbles it up, then the force to Uribe at second. So Brantley gets out of it. A's lead 3, but lead 5-0. On to the 7th.
6 years ago, a new car maker called Lexus began a relentless pursuit. Introducing the Lexus LS 400. After 6 years of pursuing perfection, Lexus has created something for the rest of the world to pursue. Lexus, the result of our relentless pursuit of perfection.
There's something elemental in us all. A basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
Okay, Nolan. Put it in there.
Are you still throwing outside?
She's right. Try low and inside.
For everyone who has ever dreamed.
I felt like a lightning rod.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Life goes on tomorrow.
Rebecca!
Following the World Series.
Teams develop distinctive personalities and styles. The combative A's of the 70s, the We Are Family Pirates of 1979. What about the Oakland A's? I asked Tony La Russa to describe this group.
Al, I really think that the character of our club is a very close one. This club is very, very tight. These guys have a lot of respect for each other. And I really think that's where it started last year. These guys first all respected themselves professionally. And I know that there isn't one time where there's even a hint of not backing each other up, not supporting each other. So I think the closeness on the club is what marks this team. I think the talent everybody looks at, I think they're very professional, but they're very close.
And they're on top 5-0 as we start the 7th inning. Matt Williams at the plate, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Williams, Riles, and Maldonado. The A's have had things their way from almost the outset. 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. La Russa, I think many of you know, has a law degree. When Tony left baseball in the late 70s, he picked up his law degree at Florida State. And it was a funny thing. While he was there, the late Dick Hauser was the baseball coach for the Seminoles. And he said he picked up a lot from Dick, and also Bobby Bowden, then and now the football coach, and Hugh Durham, the basketball coach, as well. As Williams, it's a fly ball to left field. And Ricky Henderson is right there for the out. 1 away.
How about that graphic? The longest continuous A's manager since Connie Mack retired back in 1950.
And Mac owned the team, so that's why he was there over 50 years.
And he managed in a suit. Not a baseball suit either.
Is there a connection there? He managed in a suit, and La Russa has a law degree.
There is a connection, yes.
Yeah, but we'll drop it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a spurious one. 1-1. Riles, the Giants DH. Grounds one to the right side, and McGuire shovels to Stewart. 2 down in the 7th inning, and it will bring up Candy Maldonado.
By the way, other lawyers who were managers in the major league, Branch Rickey, Monty Ward, Huey Jennings, and Miller Huggins. And those 4 are in the Hall of Fame.
And there have been a few clubhouse lawyers.
Oh, indeed. Indeed.
By the way, the Athletics, the last time they were involved, or they had a World Series shutout thrown by an A, 1931, when the team was in Philadelphia. George Earnshaw did it. The only reason we bring it up is because you think of the great A's teams in the early 70s with Hunter and Lou and Holtzman, Odom. You would have thought somebody along the way would have thrown one, but That's ripped foul. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
When you look at the scores of the 72, 3, and 4 world champion A's when they beat Cincinnati, the New York Mets, and the Los Angeles Dodgers, all low-scoring ball games. Even last year in losing to the Dodgers, they had low-scoring ball games. The only game they won, 2-1, when McGuire hit the home run.
Game 3, Steinbach comes all the way back and has room to make the catch on Maldonado's little pop. And again, the Giants are gone in order. It remains 5-0 Oakland.
IBM presents You Make the Call. With a runner on second, a batter hits a ground ball towards third. The fielder dives in vain, but then the ball hits the runner. Is he out? You make the call.
You got to juggle 10 things all at once and get them done right. Get them done before lunch. How are you going to do it? Well, you're going to PS to it with the IBM PS2. You can do things with microchannel that other computers just can't handle. You got an edge in power and speed. You're a forward thinker. Yes, indeed. How are you going to do it? Easy. You're going to PS to it. The solution is IBM.
Because the fielder had a clear chance to catch the ball before it hit the base runner, the runner is safe and the ball is still in play. If you said so, you made the right call.
Miller Genuine Draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Want to know how fresh McDonald's Grade A eggs are? Every day our hens are called on to lay 2.5 million of them. McDonald's breakfast tastes fresh because our eggs don't lay around.
When lunch and a day at the park are too much for Tommy Lasorda, he reaches for Rolaids. Nothing works better for acid indigestion. And why should heartburn take the fun out of the game? Relief. You know how to spell it.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Lexus Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection.
Heading to the bottom of the 7th, Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, and Tim McCarver in Oakland, where the A's lead Game 1, 5-0. And Dave Henderson to lead things off against Brantley in the bottom of the 7th by grounding one on one hop to Williams. And that's so to Clark for out number 1. So Henderson has been silent tonight. So has Canseco. But Parker and Weiss have hit homers. The A's with 3 runs in the second, and Stewart's been masterful, and they lead 5-0 with Mark McGwire coming to the plate. Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. Tom Mattis is at the controls tonight. Cruising high above Oakland. Ship will head about 8 miles west on Tuesday for Game 3. How far is it between the Coliseum and Candlestick Park? Well, with 0 traffic, it's about a half-hour drive. With an overturned big rig, pack a lunch. 1-1. As the Blimp flies, it's about 8 miles. There it is, San Francisco and Candlesticks in the extreme southeastern corner, and Oakland. And at some point, weather permitting during the series, we'll try to give you some perspective from the Blimp, the 2 stadiums. McGwire wraps one into left field for a base hit. So Mark, who was 1 for 17 in last year's World Series, is 3 for 4 in Game 1 tonight.
First thing he'll tell you, he loves being the one that does not be the focus of attention. Anonymity. When he hit 49 home runs 3 years ago, everybody wanted to interview him. He went right out through the writers, and there's a mass here right to the batting cage. Nobody asked him anything. I want to talk to Canseco, to Ricky Henderson, Tony La Russa, and that's exactly the way. La Russa, excuse me, not Russo.
Poor Tony. At least people have finally begun to pronounce his name correctly most of the time. I mean, for years they used to call him Rudy LaRusso after the Laker forward who played opposite Elgin Baylor, and occasionally he still referred to that on a newscast or sportscaster too. But he's very much establishing his own identity. Back-to-back to the World Series, and among the other treats he'll have next year is, you know, he's going to manage in the All-Star game. Little pop-up in foul territory. Clark gimping back and makes the catch like a highlight player. And also paying a little bit of a price, and you can tell that knee is really bothering him. Using that glove like a cesta here.
Full extension, and watch after he makes the catch how he comes to a limping halt. Takes you back to that triple he hit against the Cubs, and eventually scored the first run in Game 5, and then won it with the 8th inning single. Good play by Clark.
Phillips at the plate, 2 for 3. That's the 7th foul out in the game, and it tells you something about this ballpark. 1-0 with more foul territory than any park in the majors, it would figure. Circular stadium, built for both baseball and football, and as we mentioned before, the longtime home of the then Oakland Raiders, and the city of Oakland trying to get the Raiders back.
Along with the city of Sacramento.
And a few others. 2-0. But it's funny the way things have transpired in this city. The Raiders were here, sellout after sellout, and out they went. And we talked about it at the beginning tonight. The A's came west in '68 as you look at the panoramic shot of Oakland. And this franchise hit bottom in the late 70s. And it was saved by the Haas family, a San Francisco family, a Levi Strauss Company family, Walter Haas Sr. and Jr., and their son-in-law, Roy Eisenhart, in a press conference in 1980, to the surprise of everyone, bought the team from Charlie Finley and reestablished the franchise's roots. That's fouled away, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Early 80s, Billy Ball with Billy Martin. Ricky Henderson stealing 130 bases. 1981.
They inherited Billy Ball. Billy was here, so he came with the company. And then, of course, in '81, they won a division title. And that was the year of the strike. They beat Kansas City in those mini playoffs. And then on to the ALCS, where they lost to the Yankees.
to the Yankees 3 straight. And how did the Yankees celebrate it? A fight between Greg Nettles and Reggie Jackson.
In the old Oakland tradition.
Yeah, right.
2-2.
Yeah.
I would say not only were the A's of the 70s a dynasty, certainly, by today's standards, 5 first-place finishes in a row, 3 world titles, but probably the most colorful group in recent times as well.
Yeah, they proved you don't have to get along to win.
3-2 the count. And yet through it all, they played in relative anonymity. For a team that won 3 straight world championships, attendance was simply average.
It's a tough time drawing 1 million people in those days. 1 million a year.
3-2 the count. 2 down. McGuire off and moving from first base. And the pitch is lifted to center field. And Brett Butler is there to make the catch, and down go the A's in the 7th. The Giants come up in the 8th, trailing Oakland 5-0.
Pepsi, please. Sorry, honey. There's none left.
More people are moving to Diet Pepsi, the right one.
At Lexus, we didn't just suppress the engine noise. We suppressed the gear noise, the exhaust noise, the wind noise. And all that was left was the perfect environment for you to create a little noise of your own. The new Lexus LS 400 luxury sedan. Lexus, the result of our relentless pursuit of perfection.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries,
Oh, you'd be wanting Ian Alistair, Mackenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people,
Also for McKenzie.
including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair McKenzie. No trouble finding me, did you, lad? No trouble at all.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
I wanted to live in the Rocky Mountain region. 12 or 13 of us have played together now for 8 to 10 years. We just have a good time.
Keep it down. What Tom does is he doesn't care if we make mistakes. He doesn't get down on anybody.
A lot of these players depend on Tom Dater for their life insurance.
It's all teamwork. It's, no individual players.
He's been on their team for 10 years, and with New York Life for 18 years.
Why would I buy insurance from a stranger when I can buy it from the worst fullback in Boise?
New York Life, the company you keep.
The Los Angeles Rams, the NFL's only unbeaten team, take their perfect record into Buffalo to meet the Bills on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Commissioner Fay Vincent, and he is seated next to Bart Giamatti's widow, Tony, a series dedicated to the memory of the late commissioner. Looking on game 1 as we go to the 8th inning. 5-0. Dave Stewart sailing along with Kennedy at the plate, Uribe and Butler to follow. Mike Lacoste is up in the Giants bullpen. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. For one of the rare times tonight, ball 3. Ken Oberkfellow at 18 pinch hits this season is out on deck to bat for Uribe. Lacoste with his jacket is on his way back to the Giants dugout, so he has warmed up and probably will come in. There's Mike in the bottom of the 8th inning. Grounded toward the middle. Phillips is over there to backhand it, throw him out. 1 away in the 8th inning, and Ken Oberkfellow comes up. Monday Night Football, Rich Stadium in Buffalo will be the site. minus Kelly. The Bills trying to get squared away under Frank Reich, and Jim Everett leading the Rams into Buffalo. The Rams, the only unbeaten team through the first 5 weeks. Meanwhile, tomorrow, game 2 here. Big Daddy Rick Russell pitching for San Francisco. Mike Moore for Oakland. 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific tomorrow, game 2. Oberkfell first appeared in a World Series back in '82 as a member of the Cardinals. Came over from Pittsburgh in May. And he's been a terror off the bench for Roger Craig. 2-1.
Yeah, 18 pinch hits.
There is Big Daddy in the background. 40-year-old Russell. 2-2.
Great line. Russell doesn't say very much, and somebody said, "Gee, you know, you got a lot in common with Nolan Ryan, both of you guys being over 40." He said, "Anybody that thinks I have anything in common with Nolan Ryan, got to have mush for brains."
Hole 3 to Oberkfell, 3-2.
I'll tell you, even though the A's are firmly in control tonight, a lot of guys like Russell, after their teams have lost the opening game, have come back as the second pitcher to work 3 games of a World Series and win 3 games. The name that pops to my mind, a guy that pitched against us when I was with the Cardinals in the 1968 World Series, Mickey Lolich. Started game 2 after McLean lost game 1. That was the day Bob Gibson struck out 17, a World Series record. And Lolich went on to win 3 ball games. And he was a similar pitcher to Russell, a sinker baller, a guy of portly frame.
Meanwhile, as Stewart issues his first walk of the night and falls behind here 1-0. The righty is Gene Nelson. The lefty is Rick Honeycutt. And La Russa eyeing Stewart carefully. 1 out, and the 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike. 1-1 on Butler.
You got to think Russell would have started probably the first game if he had been healthy. Again, the groin pull. He's the leading winner for the Giants. 17 wins. Great sinker, great changeup, great breaking ball right at the knees.
2-1 the count.
He really matches well against Oakland. A lot of right-handed hitters.
Butler fouling it back toward us, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stewart tonight walking just 1, striking out 4. He's faced only 5 men over the minimum. Started the All-Star game in Anaheim.
First time as an All-Star this year, which is unbelievable considering the fact he's won 20 or more 3 years in a row.
In the air to left field. Henderson over toward the line. And that's the second out. Oberkfell remains at first, and the batter will be Robbie Thompson. So 2 down. Thompson coming to the plate. A's breaking out on top with 3 in the second tonight. Sending 8 men to the plate off Scott Garrelts. Key play in the inning. Kennedy dropping Clark's throw at home plate for an error, allowing a run to score. Parker and Weiss have hit home runs. Stewart has been dominant, and it all adds up to a 5-0 Oakland lead in the 8th inning. Thompson ducks under it. The count 1-0. Clark on deck.
Missed, almost hit him with a split finger, and then comes back again with the same pitch. You can see it just going down. Robbie Thompson swinging right over the top of it.
Looking for a fastball, and the count 2-1.
Yeah, well, he's a dead red hitter. Boy, wants the ball up around the letters. And if you watch the playoffs or the regular season, he can go downtown. You got to think down, right around the knees.
Good fastball in the count 2-2.
Again, we talked, as you look at Dennis Eckersley, the stopper for Oakland. One thing about Dave Stewart, his ball has so much movement. Forget velocity, it just runs that they'll have guys chasing balls almost over their heads.
Crowd chanting, Stu, 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 as Thompson grounds one on a hop to Lansford. Over to second to Phillips, and the Giants finished in the 8th. 5-0 Oakland.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Amy, I hear your new teacher's real mean.
Amy, would you come up here and bring your picture with you, please?
Look at the picture.
There's a special power that can bring students and teachers closer together. The power to be your best.
Hey, how's your new teacher? Oh, she's okay.
Here's a great idea. This Halloween, greet the monsters at your door with Happy Halloween certificates from McDonald's. They're 10 for $1. The neighborhood gang can turn them in for free McDonald's dessert treats like cones and sample-sized sundaes. You can count on a safe Halloween with Happy Halloween certificates from McDonald's. Now that's using your head.
Several years ago, Lexus engineers took a long, hard look at the sports sedans of Europe and were so underwhelmed, they decided to create one of their own, with luxuries the others lacked, such as bird's eye maple, a 6-speaker stereo, even an airbag. Introducing the Lexus ES250, the luxury sedan of sports sedans. Lexus, the result of our relentless pursuit of perfection.
Open your eyes up.
Hey, check out the old timer.
Come on, will you? Come on.
I got it. I got it. I got it. It was the chance of a lifetime.
I know.
Hey, see if you can hang on to this.
Hi, I'm Will Clark with the San Francisco Giants, and my favorite show on ABC is MacGyver on Monday nights.
Catch MacGyver Mondays on ABC.
For the Giants, Ken Oberkfell, who pinch hit, stays in the game, plays third, hitting in the number 9 spot. They move Matt Williams over to shortstop. And going to the mound is Mike Lacoste, who had to leave one of the playoff games with a knee injury. And so he will test it here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Walt Weiss to lead off, and Ricky Henderson and Carney Lansford, and the pitch is taken by Weiss for a strike. 0-1. Lacoste, one of those who is sort of half penciled in for a 4th game on Wednesday night at Candlestick. It's grounded to the right side, and Robbie Thompson will take care of it. 1 away. We say half penciled in because Roger Craig can go a lot of different ways right now. And I think a lot of it will depend on where the series stands at that point, whether he would bring Garrelts back or go with Lacoste or just what.
Oh, they played the simulated games as you look at Roger, and so did Tony La Russa with the A's. And it's a perfect chance to get Lacoste in, give him an inning, with his feet back on the ground, see how his knees is. And I think you're exactly right, Al. Depending on what the situation is as far as wins and losses, that'll dictate who pitches that 4th game.
For the A's, though, they're going to go with a 4-man rotation. Tony La Russa committed to that. And what that means, of course, is that Dave Stewart would not pitch games 1, 4, and 7, but 1 and 5 only. And as La Russa said yesterday, he said, hey, if I go to a 7th game, I've got Bob Welch, and that's not bad. 2-0.
I think another piece as you look at Dave Stewart, he used to be Dave Smoke Stewart, but since he got away from that nickname of Smoke, he's been a better pitcher. Another good piece of news as you see Dave's mom. Oh, that's nice. Nice hat.
Look at that button.
Great lid. Her son's picture on the hat. But another good piece of news from the Giants quarters yesterday was Don Robinson pitching batting practice, and very successfully, no problem with his right knee. And for that reason, Roger Craig has named him as the #3 starter Tuesday night in Candlestick.
National League's best hitting pitcher, so
right
when we get away from the DH for games 3, 4, and 5, if it is played, this was slight edge. You would think so.
Only problem is they're facing Bob Welch, and the Giants have never beaten Welch at Candlestick. 19-4 lifetime against San Francisco.
Something like 6-0 at Candlestick Park.
Yeah, right.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Henderson. And Ricky gone on strikes. That's the second time he has fanned tonight. So Henderson 2 for 5 on the evening as he goes back. 2 down, and Carney Lansford is the batter.
Third baseman Carney Lansford.
Funny World Series in the sense it's the first time in 33 years nobody has to stay in a hotel. Players go home tonight. Put in for toll money tomorrow. Little soft one-hopper toward the bag at second, and behind it is Thompson to throw Lansford out. So Lacasse has a 1-2-3 inning. And we go to the ninth. It remains 5-0 A's.